Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and today I'm here to bring you guys a Bleach chapter 569 prediction. First off, I have to say, Kubo, why did you do Rukia so dirty, man? I wanted to see Rukia, like, go in. I mean, I feel like even the moment where she did go in the previous Bleach chapter wasn't enough. By the way, I know you guys know I didn't review the previous chapter of Bleach, which was 567. And I'm just going to throw my quick thoughts in. I thought that chapter was pretty darn cool. I expected her to have a Bankai, though. That was the one thing I was a little bit disappointed with. I mean, granted, okay, it's cool that she, learned a new move with her Shikai, and it was a pretty strong move, of course. The fact that she can freeze things, on like just by merely touching them, and the fact that she can go like, I think like at least like 100, negative 198. I think we saw this week's chapter of Bleach, 568. But I don't know. I mean, I still expected her to have a Bankai. I don't know. I just feel like if you go to the Royal Guard, if you get, I mean, was it really necessary for her to go to the Royal Guard if that was all she was gonna get? I mean, Royal Guard to me, I expect you to come back with a Bankai. For them to train you and be like, okay, we're not just gonna help you learn all the abilities of your Shikai, but we're gonna make sure that you are all around, captain class when you leave. Now, granted, you may be able to make the argument that Ruki is captain class with Shikai alone, which is pretty darn powerful. I mean, she's beaten Espada before, actually before she went to the Royal Guard. We all know the ninth Espada, which is she's the only one that I can think of that beat an Espada and wasn't actually a captain class Shinigami. And then, of course, she went to the Royal Guard, ate that special food and, got that training from Ichibe, the leader of the Royal Guard. And she's learned these new abilities and she has, like, captain class spiritual pressure or at least I'm assuming she has captain class spiritual pressure because she was compared with Renji when they both came down, as, two, like, high spiritual pressures by that, Mass Quincy. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm impressed and I'm happy that she got a lot better. And I mean, no one can say, oh, she's useless. But at the same time, I almost feel like this week's chapter, it's like, for her to go through the training that she did, it kind of mitigates some of it. Because the beginning of the chapter, of course, she froze Asnot. Or Asnot was already frozen. And, we could all infer that Asnot was going to break out somehow. I mean, I wanted him to actually to break out so that the fight actually continued, that we got to, have a more exciting bout, and that maybe she would have whipped out a Bankai this week. And, of course, Asnot's, he's talking about, this isn't fear, what I'm feeling. The only thing I fear is, Ju Habak, scolding me, basically, the Quincy leader, his father, his leader. And, of course, that's when he goes into his final holy form, which, by the way, at first it started looking like Ukiora slightly to me. Not all the way, but, when I saw, like, the way his eyes looked and all that, as far as how he had the lines going on his face, it kind of reminded me of Ukiora slightly. Although it looks a little bit more, or a lot more, demonic in a different type of way, a little bit disturbing appearance that Asnot took on now. And basically, the name of his final holy form is God's Fear. Now, of course, Rukia, she's still recovering from using her new technique, which I guess takes a huge toll on her, seeing as how she was bleeding a little bit, and how she has to slowly bring down her temperature or bring it back up to obviously like a normal body temperature for her. I don't know exactly what that would be for a Shinigami, considering Shinigami are technically dead, but I mean, that's basically what she was doing, and he starts basically pulling off some genjutsu type stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know I'm using a term from Naruto, but you all probably know what genjutsu is if you ever look at Naruto, but there's maybe some people who don't. So I mean, it's basically illusionary tactics. And of course, it really starts. He starts getting the Rukia in a different way because this time, before she wasn't afraid of anything, but in his final holy form, he can like basically attack your optic nerves with fear. It's not about necessarily paralyzing your fear. So she couldn't even necessarily move from the spot that she was in because he was basically attacking her nerves. And when she closed her eyes, she saw these eyes appear on the wall or whatnot. Or not on the wall, but like all around her. And of course, she started seeing images of past events that have happened to her where she felt despair, as Nodt said. So then Rukia started getting scared. Well, maybe not necessarily scared, but she started freaking out a little bit, or she getting a little bit nervous, and that's when out of nowhere, Byakuya comes in, and he saves her. Now, here's the thing. I understand this is probably very exciting for Byakuya fans, but I'm not really that happy about Byakuya getting a power up. And it has nothing to do with Byakuya. Not it has nothing to do with him how he was supposed to die. As far as I know everybody expected him to die when he fought against Asnat before and got hit with all that Senboku's. I can't even pronounce the Zanpakuto name right. Senbon Zakura. Oh, finally got that out. But yeah, he couldn't. He got blasted with all that, of course, and he was appeared as though he was gonna die. His Zanpakuto even disappeared. But that's not what I'm frustrated with. It's like, to me, and it doesn't even just have to do with Rukia. Renji himself was supposed to surpass Byakuya. That's what I sensed when he came back. That's how I felt. I was like, okay, Renji this entire time has wanted to surpass Byakuya, so let's see him do it. Granted, I had a feeling Byakuya was gonna or at least after the Renji fight, thinking, okay, Byakuya is still up there. He's probably gonna come back stronger too. Which, by the way, it seems like he did. And I mean, again, I understand everyone has to get stronger to fight against these Quincy's, but I wanted to see them actually take it up a little bit. Like maybe Byakuya take a back seat and maybe be proud of them. Like, you know what, Renji? I'm like, you finally caught up to me, or you're finally stronger than me, or something like that. I now acknowledge you. Or maybe he becomes the captain or something. Maybe Byakuya steps down and lets Renji be the captain. He finally surpassed him. And I'm not even a huge Renji fan. I just thought it was appropriate. And then Rukia, being, of course, the little sister, Byakuya, you just see her stick up for herself. See her be like, I don't need you, Nissan. I'm good. I'm fine. I can handle myself. Because she doesn't get saved all the time. But, like everyone will say, but she does get saved, occasionally from Byakuya. So it would have been nice, the fact that she would show, like, hey, you don't need to always watch what I'm doing. Because Rukia, actually, in case some of you guys didn't notice, should have been vice captain in part 1 of Bleach. The reason why she wasn't is because Byakuya didn't feel as though it was safe for her to do that, but she was considered to be of that level. So you can tell Byakuya always has his watchful eye. And granted, Rukia did push Asnat to his limits, but I feel like Byakuya could still say the same thing after this. Rukia, I don't feel as though you're ready to take on these opponents over here or those opponents over there. I don't feel like you can handle yourself because you're all basically, I always have to come save you. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it takes away from both, not only Rukia but Renji. The fact Byakuya is coming back, and he's seems like he's coming to save the day. Granted, Renji won his match, but I'm like, Byakuya seems like he's still gonna be one step ahead. Always better than them. So I don't know. I'm kind of weird on whether or not I want to take that away from the chapter or not, because I'm trying to figure out whether or not that's just something that I don't like, or if that really has to do with the writing. You know what? I actually do feel like it has to do with. I don't really feel like that's good writing, to be honest, because even though, I think the cliffhanger was cool in a sense that, okay, you obviously, anytime you have a character come back a lot stronger with a power up and you have like a grudge match, it always seems cool and looking from the outside in. But if you look at all these, like, both Rukia and Renji's characters, I feel like that hurts their characters, and I don't feel like that's really a good thing to be doing going into the final arc, or not even going into the final arc, we are in the final arc. So it's not like there's really a lot of time for Kubo to be able to make it up, or maybe have them go in and show them up, unless Byakuya gets protected by, let's say, Renji and Rukia or something against Asnat, which would be kind of weird for that to happen in this fight, like all that just for Asnat. But I don't know. As far as what I think is going to happen next week, obviously Byakuya is going to be going in, or at least I think he's going to be going in probably. You're going to have Rukia probably, saying like, Nissan, you're here, and be like, don't worry, Rukia. I'll take care of this, like, and just basically maybe not toss Asnot to the side. There's going to be some difficulty probably. Asnot probably pull off a few different moves. This may last about you know either one chapter or maybe two. I don't think it's going to be a long fight. The way it's being panned out to be. Byakuya doesn't really have long fights with the exception of the fight he had with Ichigo because that was so hyped up and Ichigo's the main character. So I don't know. I mean, Rukia has no Bankai from what we know. I don't think she does because otherwise she would have used it now. Byakuya came to help. So all I can infer the fact that next week is going to be the Byakuya show, and he's going to be probably fighting against Asnot. Asnot's going to talk up a storm in the beginning of the chapter, probably beating himself up. I'm like, oh, so you're not afraid of me or something like that. He's going to make some remarks dealing with fear, obviously, because that's Asnot's entire character. Byakuya's going to be talking about how, probably trying to pull off the same persona that he's not afraid of Asnot anymore. That he's, came back, came back stronger. I don't know if he's going to unleash his Bankai. I don't know, I almost want to doubt he's going to use his Bankai because I just don't feel as though it's really necessary considering the fact how easily cut through his final holy form technique, and the fact that Rukia was handling Asnot with Shikai. I'm thinking Byakuya, since he came back stronger, he can probably do it against his final holy form, maybe with little to no difficulty, or if he has some difficulty, that would basically be it. So look forward to that. Asnot may either die at the very end of next week's chapter of Bleach, or it may go on for 2 chapters, but I don't think it'll go on for longer than that. Maybe 2 chapters I'd give it. Maybe Byakuya be caught off guard for like a second, and that'll be the cliffhanger for next week. And then, obviously, he'll come around and finish the fight, with maybe a new, or not even, I'm pretty sure he'll use a new technique or something against, Asnot maybe in the following chapter. Maybe if he does use Bankai, it'll be a new form. We all know he has the Senkei, he has the White Wings. Maybe it'll be something to expand on that, or forget what the name of the move is, where he has like basically the big dome with all the swords. That may actually be the Senkei. I apologize if I'm messing up, these simple Bleach moves that I should know off the top of my head, but I can't recall right now. But you guys can correct me down in the comments section. But let me know what you think about this week's Bleach chapter. Were you happy about it? Were you disappointed? I'm gonna give this chapter of Bleach, oh man, I don't know. Like, I don't want to give it a really, really low rating because I don't feel like it was just a terrible chapter, but I feel like it mitigates the character of Rukia and Renji. So Vice Captain to me usually is like, an okay type of chapter, and Captain Lvl's just a good chapter. So I'm just gonna give it Vice Captain. That's where I'm gonna keep it at. I think this is with the spiritual pressure that came off of this chapter. If not Vice Captain, it would probably be like, it's kind of weird for me to say this because usually I go from Vice Captain down to freaking human level or something. But I mean, this is, well, no, human level will be even lower than that. So I would give this 3rd seat or Vice Captain, but I'm just gonna give it Vice Captain to be nice. So let me know what you guys think about this week's Bleach chapter. Tell me your thoughts. What you think is gonna happen next week? Were you excited to see Byakuya show up and save Rukia? And are you excited to see what he can do? What do you think he's gonna do? What do you think Asnot has up his sleeve? And how do you feel about Rukia and Renji's character? Do you feel like they've been mitigated in any type of way, or do you feel like this poses no problem at all? But let me know. That's pretty much the end of this video, and I'll see you next.